Hello everyone, I am Super Mario Sonic Lover, and welcome to Let's Play The Incredibles Rise of the Underminer. Now, as you probably know, or if you don't, I did a playthrough of the Incredibles video game not too long ago, and I'm actually doing this a lot sooner than I thought I would, because actually didn't think that this game was like so far up the schedule as it actually is, but you know, either way, I guess this is what's gonna be going on beside Banjo-Tooie now. And this is also the first recording I'm doing after the internet's back up, so yay, I guess. But either way though, this game, unlike the original, is two-player co-op, but considering how I'm the only one here right now, it's only going to be me, so it's only going to be a single player playthrough, but you know, what are you going to do? I am going to be doing a co-op playthrough with a couple of friends at some point. I don't know, I'm not sure when, it's not really certain of when that's going to be yet, but at some point it's going to happen. It's going to be happening on Super Key Ponycoms, or whatever that name changes to, because we don't plan on sticking to that name for a while, because Ponycoms kind of like we kind of stab ourselves in the feet with that one. Like it's like, oh, you're only allowed to do pony stuff, so we're gonna try and change the name so it's more, it gives us more freedom, I guess you could say. But either way though, the reason why I'm staying on the screen is because when we start the first level, it's going to be showing a direct scene that's ripped right from the movie, like the very end when the Underminer appears from the road and stuff like that, from under the road and all that. So I'm going to be cutting that out. I'm sure you can find the clip on YouTube or something, but I'm just going to be editing that out just to avoid any kind of copyright claims or anything like that. So hope you guys understand, and I'll see you guys after the cutscene. Yeah, that was it. It's really not that long, but either way, I don't want to risk any copyright stuff, because you know how YouTube can be with that kind of thing.
Whoever he is, he's shown up in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's showtime. And begun the rise of the Underminer! Honey, we'll go after the Underminer. You and the kids stop those drills. Let's go.
Alright, so before we actually move on here, I'm going to be doing a little trick here, so okay, so I'm going to be doing a little cheat here, so if you don't want this to be like 100% like a cheat proof playthrough or whatever, then you're not going to find it here. I'm only going to be using this one cheat, which essentially lets, there we go. That essentially lets me get double the experience points. So it's going to be a lot quicker and easier to level up in Mr. Incredible and Frozone. And it's just something I want to do, because if you don't do that, you're probably not going to be fully leveled until like end game. And even though this game isn't really that hard, except for like except for like maybe the extra levels and one certain section later on. This game really isn't that difficult, but I just want to speed the process up a little bit and give us some more experience points, because like that's the thing with a lot of these games, like when there's experience involved, you usually don't get fully leveled up until really late game. So I want to try and just speed that process up a little bit. But either way though, this game is basically on the same engine as the original game, or the movie game I believe, and basically it's more of a beat 'em up this time around. There's some platforming involved and whatnot, but for the most part it's just like kind of a basic beat 'em up game, which really does work in my opinion, because like, as you remember in the last few levels of Mr. Incredible in the first game, it kind of felt like it was trying to be a beat 'em up, but it didn't really, for me anyway, it didn't really work out too well because of just the way the game plays. But this game, it's not too different from how it plays, but they changed the gameplay up enough to make it feel more suitable for an actual beat 'em up kind of style. And I think it's more enjoyable because, like, if you remember in the movie game playthrough, I said that it felt like the game didn't really have much focus at points. Like, it didn't really know if it wanted to be a platformer or a beat 'em up or a puzzle game. But in this game, it feels like it knows what it wants to do more so than the previous game did. Like, it's not just beat 'em up all the time. Like, it's what you're going to be doing most of the time, but it does have some instances where you will be platforming and doing those kind of things. Nowhere near as frequently, mind you, but hey, since this game is more focused, it's a lot more fun for you to go through, because like, what we're doing in this very level is basically what you're doing in the entire game, like with level gimmicks and stuff, I guess, kind of, but this is the gameplay you're going to be sticking with for the rest of the game. There won't be any dash running through the city or jungle, or you won't be trying to be Violet or Elastigirl. So I guess it will kind of disappoint some people that there's less to offer in some sense, but at the same time it makes it so you can just focus on one gameplay style and not have to worry about doing anything else. So I guess it's a good and a bad thing. I personally say it's a good thing, at least in this game's case, because the first game just felt super unorganized, and some of the playstyles just got really irritating, like the Violet's level. Even though that's one level, it just didn't really feel very well constructed. I guess is one way to say it. But I'm not saying the first game is bad or anything. It's pretty decent for a movie license game, but I just feel that this game is more focused overall, and it's a lot more fun to go through. It's a better experience, I guess. But yeah, one thing is that since the first game was based on the movie, it couldn't really deviate too much from what was in there. So it was a lot of just the city and the No Manison Island areas. Like, they tried to be a bit kind of unique at the start of the game, but once you got to the island, you couldn't really do much, because you couldn't really do different things, to be honest, because the Incredibles are on that island until they go back to face the Omnidroid. So that kind of shot them. It kind of shot them in the foot in terms of like being able to come up with new environment ideas and stuff like that. But this game, since it's not really based on a movie, it's really its own thing. Even though it's most of the levels are underground. They try their best to make the areas feel unique from each other. Like they're not like, it's not like the most imaginative level motifs in the world, but they definitely try to be a little bit more creative than the first game did, because they do have that freedom, you know. But yeah, in this game, the health system is quite a bit different from the first game, because if you remember, the health was indicated by your like, was it the eye icon, and like when it goes blue, when all of that goes blue, you die. But in this game, it's kind of like a kind of a generic health bar. You just have a green bar, and once that depletes, you're dead. But yeah. But in this game, since you have two characters, if one dies, you can still play as the other guy, and like the one that's out will only be out for a certain period of time. He'll eventually come back up, but with not that much health. So to get health back, you just kill enemies and just general stuff like that, really. Alright, so I'm gonna upgrade the Ice Glide and Power Punch, and we'll be done. So yeah, it's a pretty self-explanatory experience system. You can upgrade yourself in the middle of a level, but I generally prefer just doing it after I'm done with one, because I just kind of do that in these kinds of games in general, just like with the nighttime stages and all that, or just Sonic Unleashed in general. I prefer going to the end of the level before upgrading. But that's just me.
This place is unstable.
So yeah, now that we've passed through the first level, every other level is going to be underground. So except for a couple bonus levels, but the rest of the game is going to be underground. But it doesn't stop them from like trying to be a little bit unique for the level design. Well, not level design, but the stage. What am I trying to say? For the areas, like, it's pretty standard stuff for the most part. Like, it's just an ice area, a like water area in some sense, and stuff like that. But it's miles ahead of what the first game had, and I don't know. It makes me enjoy a game a little bit more when the environments change enough for me to enjoy it more. Because the first game, I enjoy it quite a lot, well, a decent amount, in the first half. But once you go to the island, it just feels like it becomes super stale. So yeah, that's one reason why, or a big reason why I actually prefer this game. But yeah, this is also the only game. Well, no, not the only game. This is like the closest thing we have to like a sequel to the Incredibles movie at this point. There's gonna be a actual sequel coming out in what, 2019 or something like that. So we've got a few years to wait still, but I'm looking forward to it. But for the longest time, this was the only sequel we had, and while it doesn't really hold a candle to the story in the movie, it does a decent enough job for like a movie game, even though it's not really based on the movie, but it's close enough because it's based on the movie game. So it has the same basic engine, and a lot of the moves are very similar. They just behave a little bit differently to make it more suited for this kind of beat 'em up style, you know? So the enemies, I mean, they can be annoying, but for the most part, you just keep mashing the B button and they're done. They do come out with some stronger variants every once in a while, but they really shouldn't be too bad to deal with. But I'm gonna be dealing with as many enemies as possible because, you know, the more experience we can get, the better.